All right, welcome to Two Fat Dads and One Beautiful Lady that she'll get introduced here pretty soon. Oh, she's already talking. Welcome, Lissette.
Hi, Tony and Steve.
Yeah.
Hello.
You addressed me first, Steve, just so you know.
That's fine. Even though technically it's Steve and Tony because of the alphabet, whatever.
Well, we're working on artwork, and I believe even the artwork said, wait, did it say Tony and Steve, or did it say Steve and Tony?
It's got to be one of the two, right?
It's got to be one of the two. Well, we have another guest tonight. We haven't been completely abandoned yet. You know,
you know how I said that I had three people who had said they might be interested.
Yeah.
And I assume the same thing, but two of them have come through and said, yeah, let's do it.
That's perfect.
That's gonna be great.
So is this proof that you actually have friends?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, one is somebody I met on Facebook. And the other one is somebody from our old ward who I think is just, kind of wanting to drum up business for her pie shop.
Do you really need to sell pie that hard?
I
think it markets itself.
Well, yes, that's a good point. So Lissette, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. And it is,
well, let's remind our viewers that Lissette was part of our first ever, our annual Deal Breakers show.
Yes, she was. And it was fun to do that, certainly. And
I believe I used her face for the thumbnail.
You did.
And it was wildly popular because of that.
Yes. When I'm the face, we get like 30 views.
How many views did you have?
It was almost 100 plus. Our audio clips are.
She was neck and neck with Shane for a long time.
Shane.
Well, some of our audience members can be pretty thirsty.
So you know what? You should have Shane and I together. How's that?
Ratings overload.
Tony, what's happening is that each.
Oh, Shane's got you by 3 views.
Oh, so you should have us both on then.
But no.
Sexes, you should do this.
The what?
Battle of the Sexes. Have you heard of it?
Battle of the Sexes, yes.
That would be fantastic.
See? Giving you ideas.
Can I talk about something really, because we don't have to get right into introductions, and we'll let Lissette tell us all about herself. I got to talk about something really quick. That's really nerdy to me because I am like a car nerd, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just watched a clip about, do either one of you know about the Goodwood Festival of Speed? No one?
Nope.
It's like this hill climb. Do you know what hill climb races are or anything like that?
I do know that.
Okay. So it's just this time trial, right? So they get there, they get these cars, and they just try to go as fast as they can down this section of road. And it's usually, this one's in England, so it's like, a traditional road that they've shut down anyways, and it's been around forever. Well, they just reintroduced the fan car. They just reinvented it. And I know it doesn't, we're just going to have some guys on, some women on, just car nuts on that really are into this, because you guys I'm really excited to talk about it.
I'm happy to hear that you're excited. That's cool.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Awesome.
Well, that's cool, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's continue on.
All right.
Everyone, check out the McMurdy Sperling fan car on YouTube.
Oh boy. Aren't you gonna add a link so they can click on it?
Sure, I'm gonna add a link. I'm gonna talk all about it. I should.
You should.
It's really exciting. So it's super fast. It's incredibly fast.
So is this something that you could do at some point?
Never.
Oh.
Never. It's a one-off car. Yeah. Anyways.
We were talking about getting a trike.
Oh, Steve.
For when the kids leave. It's each getting our own trike.
It's actually really wonderful. I think you guys would love it.
Now, let's say you understand, we're talking about like a motorcycle.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Because,
I want you to take a picture though. I think they're cool. I just think they're funny looking. Sorry.
They are funny looking.
I
Um,
think that our first ever photo shoot of Two Fat Dads should be you and me. You can be on the back with me, Steve, on a motorcycle.
Well,
No.
that's how it would have to be. Yes.
That'd be perfect. So, Lissette,
Yes.
tell us about yourself.
Oh,
Wait, let me know. How was your weekend?
good. How was your weekend?
It was great.
Did you go to the zoo too?
I might have. Did you happen to be there too?
I think so. I think you took some random pictures of some stranger and I happened to be
Right.
in.
That was surprising that so many people asked about that.
I thought that was interesting. I'm like, Tony likes to just post people and then people just ask.
Well, I tagged you in the
Oh.
post.
No, I know. But I thought it was funny that you got questions.
Did you know? I don't know if that's a new feature, Steve. Did you know that when I tag you in my post, does it send you a message? Because it sent Lissette a
Yeah.
message when I tagged her.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nobody tags you.
Well, I'm talking about like Messenger. Like it sent her a message through Messenger that I had tagged her.
Oh. No, that did not happen to me. I don't
I mean,
believe
I
so.
know it will come up as a notification through Facebook, like the webpage, but not like a message through Messenger.
Yeah, I guess it must be a new thing. Because yeah, I've never gotten that before. I've gotten notifications, but not through Messenger.
Right.
Tony, there's something about your voice that drives my oldest dog crazy.
He loves me.
Well,
Kimball?
maybe no, it's Ella.
Ella.
And
She was the only one that liked me.
Which one, Kimball?
Ella.
Yeah, well, Ella is blind and we think she might have dementia, so that would explain a lot of
Right.
liking you.
Right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. and there goes Steve. He's left us again. I'm going to take this moment to say thank you all for subscribing. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to all of our videos. And there is Ella.
Here
Is
she
she going to attack the mic this time?
She might. It's a little too, she wants every night I give them their teeth aren't what they used to be. So I give them a soft meal
You
every night.
pre-chew their food and spit it in their bowl, in their mouths?
I would gladly if they needed me to, but I get them a soft meal and it's a little early yet. I usually give it at 10. So that way they're nice and full and they go to sleep. But that might be what she's on about. I don't know. So Lissette, through all this, tell us about yourself. Tell us what's going on.
Oh, wow. That's such a general question. Okay. Thanks,
Where are you
guys.
from?
Here.
Where are you from?
What?
Where are you from?
So Tampa, Florida, born and raised.
Nice.
Parents are from Panama. My dad came here for med school. He went to Johns Hopkins University, got his radiology degree.
Wow. So he's
smart.
Well, he's not just smart, but he was smart to go into a field that is quite lucrative.
Yes.
And it's difficult to get into.
Yes.
Well,
So
Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, he's smart.
That's real.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, that's not just like, Montana University or something.
No.
Shout out to John Aaron.
That's right. John Aaron went to Montana.
So I moved here. So I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've moved here 14 years ago, September 1st. I worked for Procter & Gamble as a chemist for research and development.
And I thought that was really interesting that your degree, you have a bachelor's in chemistry.
Yes.
Which I have a bachelor's in psychology, which is a lot like not even having a degree. So for you, I mean, that you must have been pretty smart too. I mean, chemistry sounds, to somebody like myself, chemistry sounds like it'd be really hard.
It is very hard. It was hard for me. I actually,
which is why she's still single. Boom, 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 ching.
Nice. Thanks, Tony.
Because chemistry is so hard,
Okay. I don't get that one.
Anyway, I had to take Calc 1, 2, and 3 quantum mechanics and thermodynamics and organic 1 and 2. Anyway, really, really hard
She's
class.
making up courses.
Yeah, that's
Those
all
aren't
made up
real.
words. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's remember
Why would you have
jumping.
to take quantum dynamics with chemistry?
It's chemistry. It's
Oh,
all about
That's how
understanding.
smart I am.
It's about the
Listen, I excelled in science. It was my favorite and best subject until I hit chemistry.
Chemistry's hard. It's
Because it
very hard.
involved math. It's science and math.
It's
I'm
all
like,
math.
I'm out.
It's and physics 1 and physics 2. And I'm telling you, it was so I went back to school at 27. I was a makeup artist, and literally you guys can laugh at my story, but it's funny. I'm sitting
Oh,
in the
we will.
I'm sitting in the spa waiting to get a massage, and I'm reading this Allure magazine, and it's talking about a makeup chemist from Procter and Gamble who had her BS in chemistry, and I was like, that's it. This is what I want to do. And I
Oh,
literally
that's awesome.
my massage.
I wanted to because that's what was it about that made you say like, yes?
They were talking about an eye cream that had niacinamide in it and how it helped with dark circles. And they were talking about basically the couple reasons why it was helping with that. And I was like, this is fascinating. And I love makeup and I love formulation. And I'm like, this is awesome. I want to go back to school and do this. So yeah, I literally signed up right after, went back to school.
Let me
I've
ask
never
you a real
worked-
quick question. Just real
Yeah.
quick. Can
Yes.
you fix Steve and I all of this? Can you fix that?
No.
No.
No, sorry.
Chemistry is not that advanced yet.
No.
No, I think that's amazing. Why we would not laugh at that. That is really cool. When
That's a great
I love
story.
it when someone finds their passion.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's awesome.
Yeah. And would you say this is your passion? Is something you're passionate about?
I love so I work at P&G. I've never formulated. So here's the other funny part about it. I've never formulated at P&G. I understand formulation and I understand the process, but it's mainly to talk to the consumer about it. And it's mainly to talk to the formulators and process people about it. So I'm
So
like,
you have to dumb things down so people like myself can understand it.
yeah, so I'm the liaison between the two.
Perfect.
And I love talking to people. So I think that's the thing. It's really about understanding what delights people and what makes them happy. So that's what I really love at the end of the day, because it's research and development, it makes me happy. But if you did that, if I could do that in any which way possible, that's what would make me happiest.
So if we got on and said there's some P&G product just sucked and we hated it, you'd be like, oh, tell me more. I want to know why you don't like it.
Yes, I'd love to know more.
I have no opinion about anything P&G.
Okay.
Did you have to get clearance, HR clearance to talk to us?
I didn't ask.
Perfect.
Well, we won't ask for any big secrets.
Yeah.
So because we're saying Procter and Gamble so many times, the YouTube algorithm is going to pick this up and all of our ads will be for Procter and Gamble stuff.
Now, my impression of Procter and Gamble is that it's a pretty big corp with a lot of fingers and a lot of different pies.
Yes.
So do you have anything like, are you specializing in makeup, or is it something more general? Or
so I actually started off in toilet paper, and then I went to beauty.
What a crappy job.
Literally. And now I'm back in my crappy
Steve,
job. Toilet paper.
Come on. Steve,
No.
if you did
I thought that was not worthy of you, Tony. And you've been there
14 years.
14 years. Okay, so you moved to where you're at now to work for them.
Mhm.
And you are, we had asked this earlier, do you have children, or?
Mm-hmm. I have a 7-year-old daughter named Angelina. My one
And
and
what do
only
you, that's a beautiful name. What do you call her?
Angelina.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
It's such a pretty name. You wouldn't want to shorten that.
No, her other name is Sunshine, but those are her two names typically.
And she is 7, so that's what, she's going into second grade.
Yep. You got
Okay,
it.
and is she's got a, now your dad went to Johns Hopkins. What did your mom do?
Stay-at-home mom.
So she's a stay-at-home mom.
Mhm.
Um,
siblings?
and I'm sorry.
Siblings? How many siblings?
2 sisters, 51 and 53. They'd probably kill me for telling their ages, but I'm 45.
Then it all evens out if you tell us your age too.
45. I just can't. I know you said that last time. I'm 47, and so I know I'm older, but man, I look terrible compared
Genetics, man.
to I know, I guess.
Have you seen J-Lo? She's like 55 and she looks 35.
She just turned 52. Or
Okay.
50.
I shouldn't add years then.
Yeah, don't add years to her.
So what kind of so Angelina is 7. What kind of interest does she have?
Interest. What does she like to do?
What does she like to do?
She loves sciencey things. Imagine that from a
Okay.
mom, a chemist, right? That does a lot of R&D. She loves learning. She loves doing fun experiments like making slime at home.
She loves them.
Unicorns, glitter, going to the zoo. She just loves learning about things. So we go to Kings
Fact.
Island, go to the zoo. Well, we went to zoo with Tony.
Don't
but-
give that it's a secret.
Sorry. Okay. She likes going to the museum. She's just a smart kid. And I know everyone says, oh, you say that because you're her mom, but I've taken care of other kids and I'm not saying it's me. I'm just saying it's her. It really is.
Now I have a couple
She's a good kid.
I have smart kids. And one of the things, even at 7, I felt like was that I could only ruin them. Like very smart. And that anything I tried to do I should just get out of the way. So she is, now is she musical at all? Does she take music lessons or likes to sing and dance or?
She loves to dance. She likes to sing. I didn't know this, but I've heard from singers. I'm a makeup artist on the side too, just so you guys know, and I do headshots for professionals. Sorry, makeup for headshots for professionals. And I was talking to a singer, and she was basically telling me on Broadway or whatnot in Cincinnati. I guess it wouldn't be Broadway, but they do a lot of different.
Way off Broadway.
Anyway, you get the point. I was doing her makeup, and she was a singer, and she does instructions. And I didn't know you could actually be taught how to sing. So if you start them early enough, they can learn how to sing. It's just about tonality.
It's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about that is even with the professionals, they'll stick a borescope down in their throat, a camera down there, and they'll be able to see, what their muscle is doing and be able to control it better and make different sounds. And it's really interesting when they really get into it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what they can do.
So
is your daughter doing singing lessons?
So I'm going to start her in singing lessons because I didn't know that was possible. I always wanted to sing. I cannot sing.
Right.
I always wanted to entertain as a dancer, and I don't mean it in that way. I meant like, Busch Gardens or Kings Island.
Sure.
Working at a, what is it? Cheesy, but I think it would be cool. Why can't I think of the name? When you go on
like
cruises.
Carnival cruise.
Oh, cruises. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dance shows, right? Dinner
So
and a show.
Salsa classes on Tuesday. So
Do you know that I came from
that's fun.
dancing stock?
Did you?
Yeah, my dad was the first stripper in Indiana. No, I am not joking. Steve, did you ever know this story?
You're serious?
Oh yeah. So my dad was
No.
part of Fast Eddie's, which was a all male talent, quote unquote, talent show in Indianapolis, which was the first in the country. He had
Hold
just
on.
got back from Vietnam.
This is true.
This is 100% true.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then.
I mean, I could tell the whole story how I found out, but I'm just going to get to it because this is Lisette's time. So this guy named Fast Eddie, he, had an all male review. Anyways, my dad needed a job. He just got back from Vietnam, and it was like dancers wanted. He's like, male dancers wanted. He's like, well, I can dance. And so they only went down to their Speedos, and he's telling me the story that I'd never heard. And I only found out a few years ago that he's like, I said, well, why'd you get out of it? And he said, the women were mean, like terribly, horribly mean. I'm like, what would they do? And he said, they would heat up the quarters as they put them down your Speedo. And I said, quarters? I said, they tipped you in quarters. He's like, Tony, it was 1960 something, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. They're tipping in change. But they would heat up the quarters with like a lighter and then put it down the pants with like a tweezer. And, they'd start like shaking to take off the Speedo to see.
Wow.
Yeah. Women are smart.
Because when
Smarter
now I have never been to a strip club.
All male review. Yeah.
Well, either. Never been to a strip club. But my understanding is you have to be very nice. Like if you're not,
women can, well, it's different. But anyways, so then they moved it to Broadway and it was very popular. And then it was someone decided to do a knockoff, and that was Chippendales.
wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
my dad was part of history.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I don't know how to follow that up.
I don't know how she can follow that up. I think we might as well just end the episode right here.
Done.
Okay. Have you ever been to a strip club?
I-
Is that the transition?
So Lissette,
Don't answer.
is in your career, like, are you like, is this your dream job, or do you have an ambition of something else that you want to do? Like what a next step is, or?
So I currently recruit for P&G 25% of the time. So I've been doing that for the last 10 years. So that is probably more of what I'd like to get into. How do I say this? I like going to career fairs, and I like helping people figure out what they want to do. And I think at the end of the day, everyone feels insecure about something. And if I can help engineers, any kind of science students feel better about themselves before they go to recruiters, that's kind of my goal. Recruiters can be, and I say this from experience, can be very mean, at least from the kids that come up to me. We're told to have an elevator speech. We're told to, be confident, handshake well, all those things. And when these kids go up to other recruiters, they're almost dismissed immediately if they're not a certain way. And I always, the first thing I say to these
what's
kids,
a certain way?
Yeah. What does that mean?
they have to be confident. When you go to some of these big, we're a Fortune 500 company too, but that doesn't mean we treat people badly.
And college kids, they're, especially the growing the rising generation, they struggle with confidence.
Yes, tremendously.
Because to me, this is my opinion. They everything's so exposed, everything's online, and they're just so worried to fail because they don't want to literally become part of a fail video on YouTube, or something like that. So yeah, it's a completely different generation. Like if we tripped and fell in the hallway of the high school, people would forget about it by next week. But most of the time,
or at
nowadays,
least
it's recorded by 6 other people and put online.
I guess that does happen.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry to branch off.
Yeah. No, so these kids are awesome because I've like I said, I've been doing it for 10 years, and like I still have kids come up to me years later, or even contact me on LinkedIn and say, thank you so much for helping me just have more confidence. And now I feel now I'm working at some big company and I'm doing really well. And it's about giving back. It's about helping people.
And then they ask you what you're wearing.
Yeah.
No, they don't. I'm sorry, Tony, cut that off because I liked what you were saying. You said it was about giving back.
Yeah. It's really about giving back. It's really about I feel like I'm successful, even though I went back to school at a later age, and I got to work at Procter & Gamble, and I'm still working for them. And I've learned so much in 14 years that I really want to help people kind of learn the things that I learned and not take so long learning it. Because I feel like it took me quite a bit. And so, yeah, like I said, these kids come back to me and years later, and still, like I just did we call it Society of Hispanic Engineers. So SHEP, I'm a part of that. And, I did basically like a small little seminar for these kids, and it was about 100 kids. And I had a couple of them come up to me and they're like, we've known you for years now. And now we have kids coming from our schools and, whatever it is, or from our companies that we work for. And it's just, that's what life is all about, right? It's about seeing and it's not about me, right? It's about the impact that because
Oh,
of
it's
our,
like missionary work. You're describing missionary work.
yes, it's because of our beliefs and because of how we treat people, the kindness and the love that we're, putting ripples in the pond and creating that love of Christ that we want to do.
So that leads me to another question. Dad was a doctor, is still a doctor.
He's
retired now.
Mhm.
Were they, like, before you went back to school to become a chemist? I mean, did you feel like they were maybe a little disappointed with what you were doing, and going back to school, like, kind of got you in the good graces, or were they, how did they feel?
Yeah, my parents always wanted us to go to school. I went to, and just so you guys know, I won't tell you why I dropped out, but
Why did you drop out?
no, Tony. I went to University of Florida my first year after high school.
Oh, I know why she dropped. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I dropped out after a year, and then I went back to school at 27. So yeah, they were disappointed because I always wanted to be a doctor. And though, nowadays, and sorry, Dad, for saying this, but my dad was very machisto. If you know what that means, it's just patriarchal, but very like old school. And he, when I told him I wanted to be a doctor, he said, no, you need to be home, right? You need to be with the kids, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm very curious. Did they want you to marry well, as they say?
Yes, I'm sure they would not want me to have said that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, were they obvious about it? So it could probably be kind of subtle.
They, you need to get your education, but you need to have someone that you marry that has a better education than you do. Yes.
Whoa, that's pretty obvious. That's not subtle.
That's not subtle at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you go back into this. I mean, if you're 45, my parents and your parents are probably pretty similar in age.
I was just thinking it's generational for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and my dad, well, he told me once that, he kind of let my mom kind of do whatever she wanted to with her money because she wasn't going to make very much anyway, and I think that was sort of the expectation, that when she got a job, it would be cute, and, she could earn a few bucks,
so sad to hear it the way you just described it.
Well, and I mean, I think in the Latino culture, it might even be, I don't want to say more so, but I think that definitely is pretty ingrained.
Yes.
That idea of the patriarchy and such.
Hmm.
So, but they must look at you now. And I mean, you have a career that's pretty cool. They must look at you now and be like, all right, we're good.
My parents are really hard. So I think there's something, and this is my experience, right? So I'm not speaking for all Latinos, but I think Latino, at least my parents, were very difficult in the sense of, like, we should have been, even though they wanted a husband to have better education than us, we should have been lawyers, doctors, period. And my sister's a lawyer. And I feel like there's a bit more of, we're really proud of her.
So I was gonna say, she's the good one then.
Right. And Lissette got a 4-year degree.
What about the other sister, just out of curiosity?
She does not have a degree, and it's the same thing. It's like even lower, right? So there's this definite.
Do you guys talk about it? Do the siblings talk about the parents?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I've always been told. So it's funny because, so it's a little opposite of what I'm saying right now, but there's definitely.
We will not tag you in this video, just so your family doesn't see it.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "What did you just say?" But it's true, right? Like, my sister Lynn, so that's the lawyer. Probably shouldn't. Anyway, she's the favored one. And then maybe me. It's more Liz, because Liz is back home, and there's still a lot of family and spending time together. And since I'm in Ohio and they're in Florida, they can spend a lot more time with parents than I can.
So everyone's in Florida.
Ousted because I'm here.
No, I'm not trying to compare this, but my in-laws spend the vast bulk of their time with one child. And part of that is because they have a son with Down syndrome who he's 10. They don't really need a lot of extra help with him, but the grandparents are especially attached to him. And, but it's kind of like when you're not seen as much, you're almost kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And it's not like they say mean stuff, but if they call Charlotte and they'll say, oh, well, of course she's at work, so they're not, they don't, so I get what you're saying.
I was just going to talk about favorites, and how bad it can be, but sometimes it's after a while, after we're talking about this many years, we all know, like, I know who the favorite is in my family of the siblings. We all know, we all talk about it, like, oh, so-and-so's a favorite, can do no wrong. It happens. Of course, Steve is at least, he's got to be last on the sibling list.
Well, it's funny because I don't know. I could be the favorite because I don't.
Well, we're gonna have your dad on, and we'll just ask him.
We will ask him. That's a good idea. Because
I'll interview him about you.
Put him on the spot.
I've just got a sister who's always in trouble, and I kind of wonder if she isn't on some level the favorite because she needs him so much.
Well, favorite / needs the most. I mean, that happens too, right? Anyways, I love all my kids equally.
Oh, I don't.
I don't either. So when, I had 4 boys in a row, and then our daughter came along, and,
it's different.
Oh, it was so different. And it wasn't even purposely trying to be different, but the daddy-daughter relationship was just so incredible. It was wonderful. And I found myself, like, I was working a night shift, and I'd get off at, like 3 a.m. and I'd find myself at Walmart buying dresses for her and bring home and like display them at her footbed, at the foot of her bed. So she'd wake up to a brand new dress, and the boys, of course, would be like, why did Tegan get a new dress? And I'm like, do you want me to buy you a new dress? Is that what's going on here? And I'd just say, well, she's a girl. And they'd be like, I don't understand.
Well, they will one day.
Right. I would further explain, like, I am just trying to show you guys that you treat women better. Right. Oh boy.
So Lissette, tell us a little bit about what's going on. And again, don't reveal anything you don't want to, but what's going on with your personal life now? Are you dating anybody? Are you, because I know, we talked about this, Tony from the Singles.
She friend requested me.
Say that again.
She friend requested me. I have to put that out there.
I love
just send me a random friend request.
And you saw her picture and said, accept. Yes.
No, I had to, find out her personality first, Steve. It's not all about looks.
Go ahead, Lissette.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been single for the last, it'll be 3 years in September. Dating has been challenging, I will tell you in a heartbeat. Just because I shouldn't put this out to the world, but like I've been ghosted so many, and I've told Tony this like a billion times. I've been ghosted so many times, and I'm like, what is going on?
What is going on? That is crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean,
if you look like me, sure, you get ghosted. But no. I cannot fathom this.
Yeah.
Everybody gets ghosted.
Maybe it goes back to when I was in singles. But when I was in the single, I was 22, and so, we're just super superficial. I don't know, but.
So ghosting for you back at, when you were 22 was when the girl would sit next to you in the pew, and then the next Sunday she sat like 5 pews away. That's what ghosting
is. That what it is? Because that did happen. I mean,
I don't know.
Like
it is a weird. Okay, so I'm curious at Lissette, what do you actually consider ghosting? Because we're probably not talking about, matched on, this day, and then 2-3 days later there's no more contact. You're probably talking about an established kind of communication relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, no, I understand, like, or even like I get like a first date, but even like then just say, hey, there was no connection or whatnot. And don't get me wrong, like I understand on the other side of things, when I have told people, hey, there wasn't a connection, I wish you the best of luck, I have received nasty grams back, right? So
Oh,
I understand.
really?
Oh yeah, it's nasty. And I've told people, over time, like, hey, this isn't working out, or I think we just have different ideas. And I've gotten nasty things back too. So I understand the reason why people want to avoid that. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I just feel like, and Tony, if you can agree or disagree with me, but I just feel like we just need to be a little bit more accountable in dating.
I agree with everything you say all the time.
Well,
Stop it.
again, and I've brought this up before. When I was single, there was no texting, there was nothing like that. But I belong to a couple subreddits where ladies especially will post the messages they get from men.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, I just can't imagine saying these kind of things to.
It's quite vulgar. You're talking about vulgar messages?
Well, vulgar, mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just like, so nasty sexual, some, but nasty mean.
I
also.
think there's still guys out there that think
I
that
wouldn't talk
negging
to a
works.
streetwalker like that. You know what I mean? I just can't imagine the things that it really, as a father, it really scares me. Like of the kind of messages that I know Paige is going to end up getting as she goes through this, and it's
well.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is this outside of the Mormon world we're talking about on Reddit? I'm assuming yes, because
in my Reddit subreddit is non-denominational.
sure. But even with Mormon stuff on Mutual, I'm sure you have experiences. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard terrible things. I've heard, like, so I've gotten compliments before about my ability to communicate. Oh, you're shaking your head. Okay. My personality, my humor, all these things. And I'm just like, I cannot be that unique. And they're like, they tell me, you have not even asked me my bra size yet. You have not asked me my favorite sex positions yet. I'm like, not only yet, I followed up with never. I said, I will never ask you those things.
Like I said, I know that it happens. I just can't wrap my mind around.
Do you like wearing lingerie?
Mm-hmm.
So she's nodding to all these, Steve, because they're all true.
On Mutual, there was this one guy who was, I mean, it was incredible. Like, he was like, yes, I'm a temple recommend holder, and I want to do the right thing, and the church is really important to me, and my testimony is really important. And then he goes to proceed to ask me if I will have a polyamorous relationship after we're married.
Wow.
With other people. Can he invite men and women? And then is it okay if my children see us nude having?
See, but you're talking to a guy who in our last podcast was nearly in tears talking about parents and men who are sexually abusing kids. And when I hear that, that is just really unsettling. Oh,
I mean, welcome, Steve. I told you, like, we should have an episode where it's just like, let's have a panel, basically. So it's not going to be guys, because guys don't get this. I've never gotten quite stuff like this. I mean, my complaints are going to be minor compared to women, but we should have a panel of women on and just tell us all of their online dating stories.
I think that would be very interesting.
It will shock you. And then I want to distribute that to every bishop I know.
Well, so Lissette, I have a friend, and she is, I mean, she's a Facebook friend. We've never actually met. But she is single, and she does some modeling for like let's say semi-pro modeling. Like,
a model
not for newspapers, for like motorcycle. There's a motorcycle and she'll stand in front of it. You know what I'm saying?
Drape herself across it.
But you know how it is. So, and if she gets a real nasty message from a guy on Facebook, she sends it to, if she can find it, his mom.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
And I have to tell you that if we got one of those from my boy, I've had this conversation with my sons a lot that we just don't. Well, see, the one is gay though; he's not going to have any problems. Um, but the other one,
Wait. Back up here. He's not gonna have any problems with what?
I don't. I think that him and
Gay men
whoever
hit
he
on
is
other
with,
men.
I think that they'll be fine with whatever happens.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I think that they won't be shocked or upset. But my son, if Brett is sending nasty messages to women, that makes me want to beat him.
Right.
It's very upsetting to me. Even
What's funny is when you, as soon as you mentioned that and modeling and in front of bike stuff, I had this flashback about the Cosby Show. Now, granted, Cosby Show is ruined now for everybody,
all
but
of us,
it
yes.
still is part of my childhood. And where Claire found out that Theo had like a magazine with a woman draped across a car, right? Do you remember that episode? And her just
No, but go
flipping
ahead.
out. Oh, it was great. I mean, that's it. I mean, it was just that. And what about her mom? And what about this? And what, how dare you have that even in my house, and how dare you objectify women like that? I mean, that stuff, I loved the Cosby Show, despite its tarnished reputation now, because those lessons were there.
I told my dad during the time of the Cosby Show that I wish that Bill Cosby was my dad.
I did too. Not to my father, like you did, very insensitive, but
so he's like face,
yeah.
So okay, so listen, I'm sorry, I've got to go back to this then. So the ghosting then must be preferable to the very nasty messages.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you even get to where I think I would just be like, all right, I'm done
with dating.
I don't know, with talking to people ever. I don't know. This is just like I said. I
think I have a lot more friends than anything right now, just because it's just so difficult to do dating.
I think one of the things that concerns me is that these guys, I think they describe themselves, they think of themselves as actually being really nice and easygoing. And that I'm sure they tell you this, oh yeah, no. Oh, I hate it when guys do that. It's gross. And how do you, and then they do, I do remember having this one, this couple friend, me and my wife, we had a couple that we hung out with, and the wife telling me that when she was single, she went through a period where every guy would ask her and they wanted to take her to see Indecent Proposal. It was are you familiar with the movie and the premise? And I thought that was bizarre,
oh my,
because I'll be honest, as a single guy, I did not like going to movies that had those kind of parts with girls in it.
Let's go see Eyes Wide Shut for our first date.
Yeah, let's go to Eyes Wide Shut.
No,
but I didn't like that because it was,
yeah,
it was just very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable. I'm gonna pick your brain for a second, Lissette. So one thing that this is what's difficult from a single guy's perspective is women are so different, right? And the personalities are so vast. So a lot of times I'm kind of vanilla when I'm first meeting somebody. And I just had this experience. It was, several months ago, but I kind of had said something about her being attractive. Like I had met somebody, we were kind of casual, and then I said something about her being attractive, and she's like, well, dang, it's about time you said something, because I wasn't really sure how you felt about me. And I'm like, well, that's a really tricky subject, because there's other women, if you, of course, maybe it's timing, exactly when you bring it up, but if you, let's say I just use the word hot, and you say, wow, you're really hot, or you're really cute, or whatever you say, with some women, that is a huge turnoff. With others, they want to hear it because they want to know. And then so you, as a guy, you're kind of stuck with, do I say it? Because I'm feeling it, like I really am attracted to her, but do I hold back? When do I say it? Or how do I say it? Or if I say it at all?
Like a very small problem.
It's a big problem.
Is it? It doesn't.
Because this is online dating, Steve. This is way different. As soon as you make one mistake, you're done. You're toasted.
So I go back to this, Tony. Be yourself, and the right people will follow. That sounds so cheesy, right? but
Tony
it's
can't do that.
true. And if,
Wow,
and if
I just got schooled.
no, I'm serious.
How do you know that I wasn't just setting this up to make Lissette look good?
You could have just stood next to her and done that beautifully. No, you know, I
Burn.
wondered, in all seriousness, I wondered how Tony had all of these ladies as
Oh my
friends.
gosh.
And if he is, no, seriously, I thought, how in the world does Tony have all these ladies who are friends?
Maybe because I'm a decent, nice guy.
But I was going to
that
say,
has-
if the bar is he doesn't send nasty messages, I imagine Tony does clear that bar.
wow.
And for our listeners, maybe that's a clue.
What?
You know, just I don't know. Like I said, I find it shocking. You know, I've seen, again, I go back to these, they're other people's messages. The worst I've ever gotten is a bot that says, you know, hey, I couldn't help but notice you're in your picture, you're super cute. And, you know, and I know it's a robot or whatever. And they're, you know, come on, 25-year-old girl's not saying that about me.
Oh, wow.
So like I said, that's the worst I've ever gotten. But I've seen these from, well, and I did a men's group for years up when I lived near Fort Wayne, and it was these guys who were super angry and awkward with women, and we would talk about how to talk to women and how to be friends with people, and I was the coolest guy they'd ever hung out with, which is not.
By the way, Steve, I do appreciate that. That was probably the best compliment anyone has ever given me earlier. When
What's
you're just
that?
saying that, you know, you complimented that I had, you know, women friends, and why on earth would Tony have so many women friends? And it's just because he doesn't send sexual messages to them. That was a really great compliment. Not that I'm nice or have, you know, a good
no, I
personality.
mean, I think that you must be, and it must be consistent if these ladies
Listen,
are.
This is the number one thing I get as feedback from women, is that I've heard this time and time again, that I make them feel safe. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm glad that I can do it.
for
I
women,
absolutely do.
it's one of the biggest things. Safety is key.
Well, because, you know, I've done a lot of marriage counseling over the years, and I mean, I work with married men on how to create an environment of safety for their spouse. And, you know, it's funny that one of the things that when I do marriage counseling that really upsets people is that, you know, I said, just because you're in a relationship, because you're married, doesn't mean you deserve honesty. You know, you get honesty when you create an environment where the person is able to be honest.
Yes.
And if you haven't created that environment and you find out that they're doing X, Y, and Z and they're not telling you, that's kind of on you, you know? And so I know when you say safety, Tony, you might not really grasp what they're saying, but I totally get that, because that is a complaint from 99% of the women that I have done counseling with.
Well, that is good, and I'm glad, and I guess I'm proud of it. But then the downfall to it all is then I'm generally friend zoned through it all.
I think you're doing that, though. Have you I don't mean to sound like maybe this is too much. If this is too much to say, but I mean, have you made a play for Lissette at all? Like, have you shown up with flowers and said,
okay,
out, lady, turn around.
Let me just say, maybe this helps Lissette a little bit too, is that one thing I would describe about myself through the years is that the romance has basically been beaten out of me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm just, it's, you know, it's hard for me to really, when I really turn on the romance and I really put on an effort, that just sets me up to get really, really hurt. That's where I'm at.
Well, it definitely, and I can validate what Tony's saying, that I can see why for Tony that he feels like that's a high risk activity.
So to kind of go back to ghosting, I'm going to make this about myself right now. Sorry, Lissette.
Say what you're saying.
No, with my first wife, I chased her for 13 and a half years, constantly chased her and never caught her. Right. So like now that I'm in this dating world, I don't chase that much. And so ghosting for me, do I ghost? Do I am sure I have. I'm sure I'm guilty of it. I'm not perfect. But yet a lot of it is like, if I send a message and it's not, it's, maybe someone's busy or something, I don't sit there and keep like responding. If they don't respond back, it's done. I don't keep pursuing.
Well,
That makes
I'm not a pursuer anymore. I did it for too long and I'm burnt out from pursuing. So to me, I have to have it has to be a mutual effort on both sides.
so Lissette, are you comfortable being alone right now?
there are days where I find it difficult. Steve, I mean, think about the church, right? Where do you
Oh,
go to
yeah.
church? One's in a pew with their family, right? Sitting happy. And I know not everyone's
No, wait,
perfect.
Steve does not know what that's like.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard because, today I wasn't, so Tony knows more about this, but I won't go into super detail, but I have a heart condition that, it just makes it hard sometimes to, I don't know, always be with a 7-year-old with constant energy, right? And today was a hard day because it's Sunday and we're not supposed to do anything. And yet I have to figure out how to keep her from jumping off the walls. So, we went to, and a lot of people might have a problem with this and I don't care. I went
Well,
to a
screw
park.
them.
I went to a park.
Oh,
and-
that's
my gosh.
fine. You're
Right?
fine.
Bad.
Anybody who has nobody watching this
No,
is gonna have a problem with that.
no, trust me, we weeded out those people after the
Yeah, those
first couple
people
of
are-
episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's those days where I'm exhausted and I want to rest and I can't because I have a daughter who's 7 who needs my time and energy. And that sounds mean. I don't mean that like I just want to be with someone to help me. No, I miss having a companion. I miss, all of those. I mean, going to church, sitting in church with them, talking about gospel related topics, praying together, all that stuff that you do when you have a spouse. And yeah,
Did you tell Angelina to come sit next to me on the train?
No, she did that on
That
her own.
was so sweet.
She's awesome and she likes very few people.
Mhm.
I know that sounds weird.
Good.
You met
No,
her.
that's good.
Yeah, she likes very few people. And she, so long story short, with my ex-boyfriend that I had for a while, she understood why we broke up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, for her to on her own go and sit next to you is a testament to you, right? She loves very kind, wonderful people. And so
Oh,
yeah.
her feeler is way off with me then.
True story. My daughter hates Tony.
No, she doesn't. Does
She doesn't hate you, but she thinks you're weird and old.
That's been that way from. It can't.
You
be
remember?
me exclusively,
So one time when
but-
my daughter was like 11 or 12, Tony came over and said, "Hi, Paige," and Paige didn't respond. And he goes, "Hi, Paige," and Paige looked at him and rolls her eyes and then leaves.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then I had the audacity to bring it up to Steve, and he's like, "What's the problem?"
Yeah, well, I'm not going to make her talk to some man.
He was like, "Good, she's passed the test." I'm like, "What? Of rudeness?"
I am raising a feminist.
Yes, that's very, very obvious.
That's good. We need
It's not a bad thing.
So
but it's interesting.
Angelina, again, I just can't get past how much I love that name.
Thanks.
Do you worry about introducing her to a guy that you're dating? Like how about her getting attached or her? You're shaking your head no.
I've told her that I have a lot of friends, and until I'm dating someone, then I'll tell her, hey, that this is someone who I really like and who I'm dating exclusively now. And then I will worry about that. But because I have so many, that sounds horrible. I have all these people.
Yeah.
No, I do
No,
have friends.
Lots of
That's really good,
and
though, for
lots
her
of male
to
friends.
Well, no,
I
but it
will-
is good for her to see that you can be friends with a woman. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you can be friends with the opposite gender is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Amen.
And I want her to be exposed to that because I want her to understand what friends can be like. and they're supportive and they're loving and caring and all of those things. And to me, honestly, friends is the most important part of a relationship. I want friendship first, and then it goes into further. So that's how it's going to start off for me.
Right. I don't know why I just thought of love bombing.
I don't know what that is.
You've never heard of love bombing? Really?
Nope.
It's just it's kind of almost a tactic. It's actually really kind of popular in our, it's like you have to do this really, everything's big and over the top, you know? So like, I mean, did we go on a date yesterday, or was that a date? Was that or not? Anyways, let's just say it was a date. I would have, like, if I was love bombing her, it would have been flowers, it would have been candy, it would have been gifts. And then I probably would have set things up at the zoo to like literally called ahead of time and set things up and done like little fun little stations and things. Like, it's such a Mormon thing. Like, we can't just go on a date. We have to turn it into a scavenger hunt of romance or something.
I will tell you what I did to love bomb then.
What's
I
that?
built her a patio with my bare hands. I stained my deck.
That's not love bombing. That's just paying your dues because Charlotte's so awesome.
Nonsense. That's
what
I don't know.
Say it.
Like I don't know. Listen, love bomb away, right? I mean, it sounds pretty harmless.
No, come on. It can be toxic.
Well, okay. I do remember from when I was in the singles one. And again, I'm not trying to make any comparisons, but this term kept getting thrown around that you were a swooner, which is one who would make girls swoon for you. It was very popular, and
I'd never heard it.
I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. And
I've told you before, Steve, just like, I'll give you my login credentials and you can just now like see profiles that I'm seeing. You can go on to the singles groups and just see everything that happens there. And I mean, a day, not even day, just take a good solid hour and look through the posts and the comments. And it's just crazy out there.
I did have a girl on a date though. Why can't you be more of a swooner? Because it's just so dumb,
my response would have been, well, I'm a really good spooner. Does that count?
Well, I wasn't that clever. I just told her I thought it was stupid, and
it is pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Well, Lissette, we're coming up to our time here. We're actually right about an hour, but let's take the next 10 minutes or so. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to promote? Anything?
Doesn't Steve have a book?
Very funny.
Well, we do have my 14th episode will be released.
You're ahead of us.
I'm doing 2 to 4 a week. They're 10 minutes. They're 5 to 10 minutes.
Jeez.
Although I've got the editing down. Yesterday, I learned how to re-record over a part that you didn't like.
Oh, wow.
That was cool.
You're going to teach me a few things.
I'm
going to re-record over you.
You should.
Hi, my name's Steve, and I am awesome, and I'm educated, and I
That's
like
what it
books.
is. Yep. No, Lissette, do you enjoy reading?
I do.
What do you like to read?
Ooh, everything. From science to neuroscience to self-help to
science to neuroscience. That's
science to nerds to nerd. So everything in between here. How's that?
I went through a long period where all I would read was nonfiction. And you do feel pretty smart when you finish a hard
Now, what
book.
exactly is nonfiction?
Ass. All right.
So Lissette, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh. Gosh, that's a hard question. I feel like I'm in an interview. Thanks, Tony.
It's a terrible question.
It is a terrible question. I hate it.
There's so much to think about. I think, from a spiritual standpoint, obviously, still very engaged in my testimony with the church and helping others. I think though, I teach 14 and 15-year-olds now in Sunday school, and I'm always wanting them to realize why we learn the things we learn. And so, and even giving them questions that can be hard. So I feel like I've always taught people by, which is kind of a weird way, but being the devil's advocate with my kids, and asking them, why is this so important that we learn this? And then I think from a physical standpoint, I would love to be dancing, but doing competitions.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think
That would be very cool.
What kind of dancing? Ballroom?
ballroom, salsa, bachata, merengue, swing.
I don't know
Wow.
any of those words.
Yeah, I would
so
love to.
Even.
And then from a relationship standpoint, I hope that I hope I'm married again, and being able to have those conversations with my spouse about our testimonies and where we're going and our goals, and Angelina having a great relationship with her stepdad. And so 5 years, I think those are the three components that I see.
Is there anything in particular, because you've married, not married anymore and such, is there anything in particular you learned about yourself that you said, okay, this is something I've really got to deal with about me?
Tony knows this. I'm really hard on myself.
Oh my goodness.
So you're saying that like you agree with her?
Yeah. I mean, that's wonderful. And it's just something that it's sad to see when she beats herself up, and she is really an amazing person. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to say, well, why do you care about other, what other people think? Cause it's so natural to do. I do it. We all do it at a certain extent. We do it.
Sure.
So it's hard to fault her, but then it's like, wow, I think, oh yeah, okay, can I bring this up? Because I was thinking about, like, with teaching, that it's like, that's one of the really difficult things with being single. It's we have opportunities to go to single events, and a lot of times there's things going on almost every weekend, but obviously that's almost impossible. But there's been times when her schedule lines up and she can go to an event, but then she's worried about her class and her calling, and I'm like, wait a second, like like finding an eternal companion, that's going to take some precedent. And what will the bishop think? What would the parents think? I'm like, oh, should I have not said that?
No, you're so good. I was just going to say something, because I feel like even at times I'm scrutinized by people, and we won't go into the, obviously we don't have to.
That's going to happen because they don't know what your position is like. They have no idea. These are people who are married, who have not been single or alone in a very long time. So if they're going to, like, scoff at you taking a weekend off to go to an event, like, screw them.
Yeah. And by the way, that is kind of my motto. I mean,
screw them.
You're 45, I'm 47. When we hit our mid 40s, we don't, as long as you're generally being nice to people, you don't really have to make anybody happy.
We owe nothing to no one at this point. We have earned our stripes.
Lissette, I've got to tell you, Tony's idea of having you, I guess I don't want to speak for you, but having you and two or three other ladies on, and sharing some of the stories and the messages and stuff, that would be it's very intriguing and horrifying to me at the same time.
I can tell you, when I hear these stories from ladies, I have a couple of follow-up questions every single time. Are they a member? And usually it's a yes, because it's on mutual. Then my second follow-up question is always, have they served a mission? Because I'm always curious. Mm-hmm. If not that's like really like this big deal. And then I have a few follow-up questions, and most of the time it's all the affirmative, like, yes, lifelong member, yes, they served a mission, yes, they're active and in a calling, and like they're still asking you these questions, and they're like, oh yeah.
And that's weird, is because honestly, you don't ask your wife that kind of stuff.
No,
you don't. I mean, it's just, I just,
yeah.
Well,
right.
Lissette, I am with you. I will be thinking about you.
Oh, I'm sure you will, sicko.
I will be thinking about you in the most appropriate manner possible. No,
I'm
seriously.
sorry.
I mean,
I we're trying to be serious about the subject. I'm sorry that I just brought it down, but yes.
no, seriously, that's fine. But I can see why you are successful as a recruiter.
She's wonderful, and she's down
I
to
mean,
earth.
you have a personality. I mean, you are pretty, and we, but I think that sometimes, I know my wife, when we were single, sometimes people would look at her because she was really pretty, and they would assume that she was kind of an airhead, and they would assume that everything was always perfect for her. But I think there's a lot more depth there. I mean, being a science nerd, I mean, that alone gets my vote, right? So I can see why, kids and, are so, students are so responsive to what you do.
Thank you.
Tony has no idea what attractive people go through.
What? I struggle with this daily.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying, like, I don't know. I know through my wife, but Tony has no idea.
What? I get propositioned like
All
3
the
times
time.
a day.
Today,
All the time. I mean, we're not going to talk about the age of the people that are propositioning me, but that's fine.
No, you just got it today from your group. I saw that. We won't talk about it because I won't say anyone's name.
That wasn't proposition. That was
Yes,
just...
it was. It totally was. That was hilarious.
I would say that generally, just if you want to talk about really briefly, that was just concern from a few people that, are interested in what I'm doing, because I think a lot of those people have gotten to know me, and they're probably asking all the same question, which is, why is Tony still single? He is so awesome, so clearly devastatingly handsome. What is going on?
That's exactly.
And super wealthy. Just
Super
want to throw that out there.
Yeah. Sugar daddy right here.
Yep. I'm
Well,
incredibly
when
educated as well.
When you're in your 40s, I would think money would matter more than looks.
Anything else.
Well, I'm saying, as far as somebody meets you, and if you're attractive enough for them to continue to show interest, and you've got coin, I mean, I think that's got to be a huge
one
advantage.
of the very first things I asked Lissette is how much she makes a year.
That's
like
a
the
good
very
question.
first question.
No,
there you go. Lissette, is it Lissette or Lissette?
Lissette.
Lissette. Okay. Well, I am excited that we got to know each other. You are a very interesting person, and I would be excited if you'd come join us again. But especially, like I said, some of these, we really want to throw in these kind of game show things, because they're silly and fun, and
we have to name the next game show. It has to be like the worst text I ever received, or indecent proposal, or indecent proposition, or something.
Oh, so we'll come up with something that will be very clever.
Yes.
Happy to come on.
Awesome. I can think of a few others, it'd be cool.
Dave, you got to get
very
your face.
Good.
Yeah.
And Lissette, since you did bring it up, lonely guy with a book. I know I'm going to say this. Okay. I never listened to any of them once I posted them. And
no one, neither is anyone else.
Well, I've had downloads, which is shocking to me. Mm-hmm. But I listened to them, and I was surprised. That they were okay. Like I thought somebody who really likes books would be interested in the 5 minutes I spent on this book.
Can we please start reviewing movie trailers soon?
Oh, no. I had a better idea.
Okay.
Oh, we could do movie trailers, but all these movie review podcasts, right?
Right.
But I went through and I Googled the lowest rated movies on IMDb. And that's what we should be doing.
I was just thinking too that we could do a podcast from inside the theater. Like
during the movie.
During the movie, we're there. We're like, this is really exciting. What do you think, Steve?
Oh my gosh, do you think he's going to ask her?
Do you think? No, we're not having quiet. We're just like, wow, that was amazing. I didn't even. One thing I've been meaning to say before I go, since we're on the subject, is I was going to give Charlotte a compliment that she has this amazing ability to predict the plot of every single movie she watches. Like
That
right
is
from
true. Lissette, we watched
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense during the opening credits. She leans over to me and goes, I think Bruce Willis is actually dead. And I go,
wait, spoiler alert.
I'm
Spoiler alert.
yeah, it was spoiler alert from a 30-year-old movie. But I was like, and I knew she was right because she's never wrong.
Oh my
And it
god.
ruined the whole movie for me. The whole movie, I just knowing what
Never watch a movie. That's what we should do. We should have you, me, and Charlotte, and we could just watch a trailer and she could predict the whole movie and what happens.
we'll come up with something really fun. And
Okay.
and our movie podcast should be 3 people.
It should be, yes.
You know, one of my favorite podcasts is called Now Playing, and they have a different crew based on the type of movie.
Gotcha.
So like you and me with one
Because
person.
I would not want to do horror at all.
You would not?
No,
Why?
because I have to sleep alone at night.
Okay, you
What, Steve?
I
You
really
have
like
someone to cuddle with every night. You have a built-in cuddler. Don't
You're
even
not
talk
allowed
to
to-
me.
she's not
Huh?
allowed to touch me once I'm
Oh,
Oh,
in my
okay.
position.
I should have known
We
that.
do this, we both do this number where we reach over and kind of pat the other one to but no, once I'm stable, I don't like to be touched.
Okay, good to know. Well, that
Just for future
concludes-
reference, Tony.
Yes, I hope everyone's taking notes about Steve's things.
You know, when we first got married,
Oh gosh. here we go.
I told her, I said, this is gonna be so
We're
amazing.
down-
We are going to hold each other all night. Because that's what the country songs say, right? And all
yes,
the country
all
songs,
Hollywood, yeah.
you make love the whole night through. And I didn't know, I was not sexually experienced. And so I thought, well, that's what you do, right? And
Right.
and so you're gonna, and every night we'll just we'll be in each other's arms. And on like the 3rd night, I was like, stop touching me.
Stop.
I'm and she's the exact same way.
Right.
Like if I lean over and I pat, or I say I rub a spot on her back, she's good with that. But if I tried to like put my arms around her
I
and
can't
pull her
stand
close, she
feet.
would not like that.
I can't. Don't touch me with your feet. That just grosses me out.
wow.
All right.
So Lissette, with that, anyway, all right. Thank you very much, guys. This was a lot of
Yes.
fun.
It was really fun. And, it was really good because we went over like by 20 minutes, which was great. So thank you all for joining us at 2 Fat Dads and 1 Beautiful Lady, which is our little side podcast. It's our endeavor to set up Steve in case he's ever divorced, which is actually an eventuality. So
Hey,
he'll have
I have been predicting that from if the day of the wedding she'd called me and said, Steve, I just realized I'm an idiot for marrying you, I would have been like, yes, I know.
it's always going to be that you are a very, very, very lucky man.
Absolutely.
All right. So
Charlotte
thank you
has
all
vision
for
problems. Okay.
Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Lissette. Don't leave. Don't hang up yet. We do a little after party that no one gets to see. So thank you all, and good night.
Good night.